Hello friends, welcome to Wagner Liqueurs. Today, I'm going to show you how I made this delicious cashew wine. This fruit, also known as marañón, is native to South America. It is actually more famous for its delicious seeds than for its pulp. But in my country, this drink has been prepared since the 19th century, even though the tradition has been lost over time. First, I separated the seeds, which I will use for another purpose. Then, I chopped the pulp into small cubes and weighed 1,500 grams. Next, I took 500 grams of white sugar and added it directly over the cashew pulp. I mixed it thoroughly and let it macerate for 1 hour. Look at this. A delicious and highly aromatic cashew syrup was formed. This will be the absolute soul of our wine. I filtered it and separated it from the pulp. Since the pulp still had flavor left to give, I cooked it with 3 liters of water for 1 hour. After that, I filtered it again to collect the liquid, squeezing it tightly so we don't lose a single drop. Both liquids go straight into the pot. We need to heat it up a bit to kill any wild microorganisms that could ruin our fermentation. Finally, obsessed with extracting every bit of cashew flavor possible, I took the remaining pulp, mixed it with 500 grams of raw sugar, and macerated it again for 1 hour. I filtered it one more time and extracted this rich, dark syrup with a beautiful caramel flavor. This will truly strengthen the profile of my cashew wine. I also measured the Brix degrees to predict the alcohol percentage of the wine. As you can see, it was at 21.5 Brix, which will allow me to reach 12% ethanol. I also measured the pH, and it was close to 5, which is absolutely perfect for a healthy fermentation. I heated it for a few minutes, and just before boiling, I removed it from the heat. This prevents the loss of aromatic compounds, while successfully killing any unwanted microorganisms. I managed to get 4 liters of ferment. This type of fermenter is the best option for homemade wine. They're very clean, they make the process easy, and they yield crystal clear wines. For this batch, I use Premier Cuvée wine yeast because it is very neutral. Please notice that the fermenter has a lid, but the rubber gasket has been removed. This allows the carbon dioxide gas to escape safely without causing an explosion. After 15 days, the fermentation was complete. I knew it because there were no visible bubbles and the yeast had settled at the bottom. At this stage, the aroma is not the best, and neither is its appearance. That is why we are going to rack it and start a second cold fermentation. Look how beautiful! I have another identical fermenter, but smaller. This one is ideal for storing in my refrigerator without causing any marital issues. Just like the other one, this fermenter has a lid, but I removed the gasket to let it breathe. Notice how I left the sediment behind in the previous container, taking advantage of the transfer to clean our wine. Ideally, you want to store it for a month. This clears the wine from sulfides and greatly improves both flavor and aroma. Look at how the remaining yeast settled at the bottom, leaving the wine completely clean and crystal clear. The bottles have been sanitized with Star San. You can use whichever brand you prefer, but it is extremely important to always sanitize both your bottles and your fermenters. I managed to bottle 3,600 milliliters of wine. I only lost 400 milliliters during the rackings, which is an excellent result. The aroma profile is delicate and free of sulfides, and it has a very strong cashew flavor with sweet caramel notes from the raw sugar. I decided to take 2 bottles for aging. To do this, I must fortify the wine with aged rum and some oak chips. Oak is special for wine, and this rum is one of my personal favorite brands. The process is incredibly simple. You just add the rum and the wood chips, and let it rest for a month or even a whole year. After 1 month, I want to show you its fine and crystal clear appearance. This is how a true artisan works, always aiming for the highest quality. The flavor improved even more. Remember, the longer we let it age, the cleaner and more refined the flavor becomes.